Welcome to Big 12 Media Days. Barry Tramel here at the Omni Hotel with Commissioner Bob Bowlsby. And Bob, you gave us some interesting news today. The Big 12, a new rule, you're going to go to just 2 days of contact with football teams, including the game day. What's the reason behind that limitation?
Well, first of all, the clarification. Full contact means full scrimmage, full taking guys to the ground. It doesn't prohibit wearing helmets and shoulder pads and going in shells. And so it's our belief that we ought to have less contact rather than more. I think our coaches believe that too, and many of them were not going with 3 days of contact to begin with. The national rule is 3 days including the game, or if you don't play in the game, you can have a scrimmage every week. But the NFL uses 11 days of contact for the entire season. They have less than 1 day of contact a week, and we just think there may be a competitive advantage in it because at the end of the year you're going to be healthier, you're going to have fewer bumps and bruises, and we know that it's going to reduce the amount of helmet-to-helmet contact. And so, you know, it's not just about concussions that happen on the field or in practice. It's about the repetitive use aspects of helmet-to-helmet contact as well. So we just think this is the right thing to do. As a matter of style, an awful lot of our schools don't hit 3 days a week or even 2 days a week. So we don't think it's going to be a disadvantage at all.
I know Mike Gundy up in Stillwater has really scaled back on the physicality of his practices over the years. You mentioned perhaps a competitive advantage. What about the public relations advantage? It seemed like this might be a nice PR move for the Big 12 in a sport that's taken some hits over the years because of the concussion issue.
Well, you know, you look at the numbers coming into Pop Warner and youth football. They're down 15% every year over the last 4 years. Young boys, mostly because their mothers are making decisions on what participation they have in extracurricular activities, those numbers are going down, and most of it is because of perceived safety concerns. And so I think we need to be constantly vigilant on how we officiate the games and how we teach the games. And we need to make it a safer game, and that doesn't mean we're going to sissify it. We all like the contact, but we need to make sure it's a safer game in the short term and in the long term.
Here we are just on the advent of the 2015 season. Where would you put the Big 12 as a conference right now? Your short version, state of the state of Big 12 conference.
Well, we've got 2 teams at the top of our league that are certainly capable of competing with anybody in the country. Aspirationally, we want to win national championships. We want to dominate during the bowl season, and we want to lead the country in graduation rates. And it's as simple as that. We don't want to just be in the playoff. We want to win championships.
Is the hits you've taken, constant realignment talk of a title game, does that impede the Big 12 at all, or is that something you need to clear that hurdle of the sort of the upheaval and questions concerning those things?
Well, I think if it's a thoughtful process and it's one that everybody participates in, I think it can be a good thing for us. I think in the end, whatever we do, whether we expand or we don't, whether we have a championship or we don't, it will have been well considered, it will have been well thought out, and everybody will have participated in it. And so I think it's a good process, although at times it can be frustrating, but we think that we're going about it in a thoughtful manner, and I think it'll yield a good result.
Thanks a lot. Commissioner Bob Bowlsby of the Big 12 Conference. Stay tuned for further Big 12 coverage here on News OK and every day in the Oklahoman.